I thought we'd do our top 10 greatest players of all time.
Right.
I'll give you the 10 that I've put in my own order.
Right.
Of what I think are top 10 greatest. I couldn't put my top 10 favourite greatest world players because people would start throwing things at, you know, at the telly going, wait a minute, you can't have Danny McGrain and Kenny Dalglish in this. So I'm going. So I've got Pele as number one because I just do not believe that you can take him away from his number one position for me, which is because he played in the World Cup at 17 in one of the greatest teams of, you know, arguably one of the greatest teams of that era, and he still was able to get into it. 3 World Cups, and had he not had a dictatorship in Brazil at the time, he would have been able to leave and play in Europe.
Yep.
The state stopped him. I've got Messi at number 2, I've got Maradona at 3, I've got Cruyff at 4, I've got the Portuguese Ronaldo at 5, his stats are incredible. And then the next 5 is Franz Beckenbauer, Zidane, the Brazilian Ronaldo, and then Di Stefano and Platini. There's a 10.
I'll go Maradona, and I go for Maradona for one because Maradona got fairly mediocre teams over the line. Maradona, if you look at the 86 team, I believe Maradona had been Scotland. We would have won the World Cup in 1986.
Yeah.
That he was that good.
Yep.
He, up until last season, in the whole history of Napoli, 100-year history of Napoli, he's only won the championship twice, both times with Maradona. I think he stands above the likes of Messi and others because he could have played in every era. Messi couldn't. Messi couldn't have played in Maradona's era physically. He would just, it would have lasted the season, and they would have been taking him off and putting him in a jigsaw box. That's not his fault, but he couldn't play in all that. So I would go Maradona, and it's with some great regret because Pele too. I agree with Pele. Is that people forget how good Pele is. The downside of Pele is Pele played in great teams. The 1970 team.
You don't have to get any a great team.
I know, but you just the Maradona drag teams over the line. Pele could luxuriate in a great team.
Yeah.
Pele could play with a Tostão, a Gerson, a Rivellino, a Clodoaldo and all that. But he was absolutely terrific and physically very strong. So he'd number 2. Cruyff 3, because of Cruyff's significance in the world as a player, as a coach who changed the game, completely changed the game, and as a mentor to future coaches. I think most of what happens in world football, not most, but a lot of what happens in world football in 2023 is down to Johan Cruyff in the 80s.
Yeah.
Messi at 4 for obvious reasons. Brazilian Ronaldo at 5 because I think he gets really underrated. Brazilian Ronaldo.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And the other Portuguese Ronaldo at 6. Again, because he's just a terrific player, had everything. Again, getting slightly downgraded, yes, Portuguese Ronaldo now. But I think history will...
Because of Qatar, people just... The recency.
Yep. Best...
That's what I'd like to say here.
I know, that's exactly what I'm
just say something. Hurry up, we're running out of time. You've got 5 minutes left.
Best at 7.
Yep.
Because... I'm older and I could watch them live only for Northern Ireland, and it was like for Northern Ireland, who were a decent team as well, you know, decent players at that time. He just so something. Gianni Rivera 8 because he's the best player in an opposition side I've ever seen at Celtic Park.
Gianni Rivera?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Italian midfield player.
You've been nobbled by the Italian FA to say
that. Rivera played for AC Milan.
Don't give us the lowdown. You put him in. Give us 9 and 10.
9 and 10. Puskas, and I'm reluctant to put him in because he should maybe be number 1. And I've done this in players that I actually watched. But Puskas was just game changing with Di Stefano. And 10, Kenny Dalglish, because I think he's underrated as well.
Yeah.
Not here, but underrated.
Mine is very similar, but I think probably just the order of it. I think I've got Maradona as number 1 for pretty much everything that Hugh just said. But my order is just very is just different. I've got I've got Zidane and Platini in mine too. I've got both Ronaldos. And I actually hate lists like this. I need to be honest. I absolutely loathe
Me too.
top 10s. I think you should just enjoy players on their merits. I think the argument of who's the best is just so
reductive.
I loathe things like this. I just think it's very male.
No, it's not.
You're in a snug bar on a Sunday night.
Have you ever been in Cafecini in the 80s with a Southern Comfort lemonade? You're turning around your mate, you're going, no way, De Stefano's in at 9. Give us your 10, give me them 1 to 10 then. Who have you got?
You want the full order
just give
of
me
it?
1 to 10.
I've got Maradona, Pele, Messi, Cruyff, Beckenbauer, De Stefano, Ronaldo, Platini, and I was between a couple. I was between Zidane, the other Ronaldo, and De Stefano. Right. Because I think I think you should enjoy players. I think you enjoy them at their time, at their minutes. I think the idea that you actually you grade people. I think you could argue you could do that list from turn it upside down. Everyone's top 3 isn't probably going to waver. You can argue whether Pele should be first or Maradona first or Cruyff first for all the reasons that you mentioned. But
some people now that we're talking about generations have Messi first, and I've no argument with that. You listen to Gary Lineker, Messi's first. If you look at
you can make an argument.
Oh, listen, there's a legitimate one, but with 3 minutes left, we're making an argument for Andrew Smith to come up with his 10.
Can I just
not one Arab player in these 10.
You won't let it go, will you?
You watch.
I checked out their human rights record. You know, partly why Maradona's first for me is because he's Che Guevara like tattoo. Because he was a bloody rebel, man. He was a man after my own heart. Okay, and there was something dangerous about Maradona, and he lived certainly a dangerous life. But it's like you said, Maradona get kicked out the butchery Bilbao and all. You know, he get kicked out of Spanish.
Are you willing to look over his misdemeanours and just say? Right, okay. I'm just trying to establish Saudi Arabia for you. I'm helping you here. Shut it. Go on.
He's rock and roll, man. He's rock and roll in a way that.
Who's number 2?
Number 2 is Messi. Number 3.
For Messi.
What's that?
2 for Messi.
Yeah, number 3 is Pele. I mean, the thing with Messi is he did it. Ultimately, he did it. You know, he did it all. He did, you know, and I know, but also it's sometimes forgotten about what a great team he played in. You know, because he was playing with the backbone of the Spanish team, who became the first team in modern day history to win 3 straight.
That's a great point.
Xavi and Iniesta.
Yeah.
That's what you need to say.
I know. So Pele third for all the reasons. And then Cruyff fourth for as Hugh said. I mean, nobody in any of our lists has had a greater impact in the game. And because of that kind of that he was another kind of almost a rock and roll star in the sense
he's fag at half time.
Yeah. And he was the estate in terms of footballers.
And he went against General Franco.
Oh, exactly. Although, like, did he really no go for those reasons and all that? You know what I mean? Because he refused to go to Argentina.
Yeah.
There was a lot of talk.
Yeah, but 1974 to go and join Barcelona.
Sorry. I thought you meant because he never went to the 78 World Cup.
No.
You know, because of the junta. That's what he said. And Zidane, like for me, it's just that again, that kind of balletic grace for a guy who's 6 foot. I think 6'2".
Yeah.
You know, and his ability, and because you can't help it, because we were at Hampden that night and we saw one of the great European Cup final goals. That's a memory I tell my boy at 13, who hates me because, like Alison, he says to me, Dad, who do you think's the greatest player? What's the greatest game? And I say, I don't know. He says, what do you mean you don't know? I said, I don't know. What's your favourite Marvel film? I'm not sure. What do you mean you're not sure? Because it changes. You know, like.
But the thing about it is, once your boy hears this podcast, he'll not be happy with you and you're arguing over Saudi Arabia. Give me your 5 or so at a time.
So Zidane, I think, did I say Zidane?
Yeah, so your next 5.
You know, like but Zidane. I remember speaking to someone, an Italian journalist, and because they've got a beautiful way about them, and I said, you know, what do you think it is about Zidane? He said, Zidane is the sun around which all other moons revolve. And I always thought it was a beautiful line. It's a beautiful line. Right, Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, Beckenbauer, De Stefano. Now, I've never seen De Stefano, but sometimes you have to accept the canon or whatever. You have to accept that people know, people that were around know.
And your final 2?
And my final 2 was Brazilian Ronaldo and Iniesta. Again, the most underrated modern day great.
I agree with you. We've run out of time.